Barb, it's Ron. How are you doing today? Oh, it's time for 10 minutes with Barb and Ron.
Hello, Ron. I thought you were frozen and I thought you were not really there and I wasn't sure how I was going to do this without you. Barb Gentili Green here.
Yeah, I'm never frozen, Barb. So I hear you've got our topic for today, and of course it's going to be 10 minutes. And
yeah. All right.
I'm excited. What is it?
Barb,
what is it?
Something you want to know. I thought we could talk a little bit about how do we engage families in our educational process. And so, of course, I'm involved a lot with special education and families in that realm. And so, but we could talk about that. We could talk about in general, as a parent of a child in a school, how do you know what's going on and how can you give some ideas towards the school? So really just truly authentic engagement with families. I thought we could just toss that idea around. I
like that idea. And I had to reach out this week to a teacher for my daughter. Ella was a little concerned with her math. Ella, is a straight A student. And when her mom checked her grades online, it looked like she's getting all Fs.
Uh-oh.
So poor Ella was in tears, So I emailed her teacher. And I didn't get a response. So I called the counselor and the counselor got back with me. And then the teacher emailed. But the counselor reminded me too. And you see, I think this is the thing we forget. It seems like time goes by and you lose track of when you sent the email and how long. I just sent it the night before. That poor teacher didn't have time to respond yet. But here I am charging ahead, getting a hold of the counselor and stuff and, just moving it along. And I should have probably just gave it a little more time, but it's all working out. Teacher's wonderful. The counselor, I think, was glad that because Ella works in the counselor's office one period anyway. So, it just pulled in those support people for Ella so she can get some help with her advanced geometry that she wanted to take.
Wow. So it sounds like even though there might have been a delay in your brain, it sounds like they were able to respond to you and you came up with a solution that everybody was happy with?
Yeah. The teacher came up with a lot of different flexible solutions. And it was just the whole thing's just wonderful. I mean, the counselor was gracious. The teacher had all these ideas. And they have a lab where Ella can go during one of her periods, or the teacher said, I can stay after, or I can come in early, or I can work with her during one of her periods. I mean, just a lot. Or she said she can email me anytime. She said, even if it's late at night or a Sunday, she said, I get right back to, students. And she is a great math teacher. We're very fortunate to have her. She really pushes the students, I mean, we would consider her a really tough teacher. And I think that's great.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like she's a tough teacher with some support to go along with it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
The way she made herself so available to Ella and then to you to honor your concerns. Yes. And so that's a great combination. Nothing wrong with having high expectations and meeting kids where they are and scaffolding up for them. And so, that's a good point about the timing of the email too, Ron, because if we think about it, we want our teachers to be engaged with our students when the school day is going on. And so they're lucky if they have a lunch period that's uninterrupted, and maybe a planning period where maybe they have to prepare some materials or go collaborate with another teacher during that time.
Or use the restroom.
I guess we'll allow that. But yeah, that's exactly right. So you're right. Their time is limited to really look at emails and think about them. And I think too that how large or small the email is might make a difference, right? Sometimes I am a very wordy person. Don't know if you've noticed that before or not, but I realize sometimes it just has to be a couple sentences, just get to the point, Barb, because this is a busy person who just wants to be able to answer the question and get going on the next task that they have. So so that's a good example, Ron, of trying to engage. I think through the IEP process, we're always thinking, how can we get input from the families about what their hopes and dreams are for their child, what they want included in that document. And, I've seen over my years, seen some really great ways that people can do that. So, email is one way. Like maybe we have a quick little questionnaire that we email to families to get a little information back, but the phone, right? Like sometimes we just need to hear voices, right? And talk. Well, I hear voices. Sometimes I shouldn't hear. I hear Ron in my voice, in my brain all the time. But making a phone call and just saying, "Hey, how's it going? We got a meeting coming up. What are some of the things that are top of your mind that you want to make sure we talk about in this meeting?" Like just checking in a very human to human connection. And offering up families to, send in anything they want. Maybe they just want to write a handwritten little note to say, "Hey, can we consider these things when we get together?" I think that there's a difference between having that token, we must involve parents concept to a really genuine, meaningful participation. Like families can tell the difference, right? Between that, like, well, I'm just asking you this because I have to, versus I really want to hear your perspective because it will help your child and it will help our team meet your child's needs. So, I think families can hear that. And, I'm in a new district, so I've been really trying to meet a lot of families, and I'm just setting up different times where I am like going to be at a coffee shop. "Hey, come on over. We're going to be talking about XYZ. I'd love to hear from you, just come, and it's an open agenda, whatever you want to talk about." So I think it's, there's a lot of different ways, but I think the key is, are we genuine in really wanting the family input? And
well, I just picked up 3 big buckets that I think I really, really focused in on when you were saying that. One is, I love your idea with the coffee, going to a neutral place, inviting some parents, buying them all coffee. I haven't gotten my invite yet, but I know I don't live in your district either, but that's all right. Anyway, I really think that's neat. And it sounds like you want to make sure that the parents feel like they're heard.
That's exactly right.
So those are big time important ones. And there was 3, Barb, but I have lost the third one.
I guess in my brain, it's that genuine, it really is important to us that we want to hear you. Not only do you need to feel here, we want to hear you. We need to hear you because that's what's going to help our students, if we engage everybody.
Now, I really love the way, you're talking ways that I think we've tended to get away from in a way. Because I know like the district my kids go to, Parent Square is like the app that everybody, the district said, "You know what, we're just going to stay with one app. It's going to be Parent Square," where before they had 2 or 3, depended on what building you had a child in as to what app they were using, So that all of the buildings came together and decided, "You know what, we're going to use Parent Square, and that's going to be the one that we use." So, with that said, that's what they do. Do you guys have an app, or do you just try to?
Yeah, there is. I couldn't tell you what it's called right now. I haven't learned that piece yet, but yes, there is that option. So again, and I think you might have even done a session or a webinar on this, Ron, but talking about family engagement and talking about multiple means, right? So an app is one way. Families coming into the school is another way. People going out into the community and meeting in another place is another way. So again, just like applying UDL is like, what is our goal? Well, our goal is for everybody to work together on behalf of our students. And
Yes.
What are all the different ways we can get there? And I think it's somewhat different based on the communities in which you live. You're in a more rural neighborhood, Yep. right? Rural area. And so, people might not be just walking down the street, connecting with each other. But in the city where I am right now, like, you see people out walking all the time. That's an opportunity. I see the superintendent walking down the road. He's got a chance to just stop and talk to people. So I think, again, context, right? UDL context changes everything, but there might be different means depending on your context. So,
Boy, if I was a superintendent, I wouldn't be walking down the road. Because sometimes you have a target on your back. I'll never forget our high school principal that we had. It's probably been 15 years ago. But the high school principal was also a city councilman. And
wow.
he said, Ron, he says, I got the only job in the world that has a target on the front and a target on the back because of my 2 items that I do that I make money on. I always laughed at that and thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, right.
But, we have to take things in fun. So there's about a minute left, Barb. So you know what? I've totally enjoyed this conversation. I did remember what the third bucket was. The third bucket was, instead of saying parents, you said families. And I think that's great because a lot of our kids, some of them are foster kids. Some of them are living with grandma and grandpas. And saying family, I think, is a much more inclusive way of saying it than the other. So that was the third thing that I focused in on that I kind of forgot. But anyway, Ron's out.
Well, that was a brilliant reconnection of your ideas in your brain, Ron. That's a perfect one to bring out. And with that, Barb is out.
YouTube, please subscribe. Like, comment, and share.